Most beginners learn scales and then wonder why their solos sound random. Well, the answer isn't more notes, it's actually less. In this video, I'm going to show you how to improv over chord changes, which essentially just means understanding where you are in the song. So for this example, we're going to use a house as the analogy here. Say you're walking down a neighborhood filled with homes. These homes are our songs. Now we want to learn something about this particular home, a particular song, because we want to know how to improvise over it, right? So this particular home we learned is in the key of C. We need to learn how many bedrooms does this home have. The bedrooms are going to be our chords, right? This particular home has 4 bedrooms, 4 chords. The 4 chords are going to be C major, G major, A minor, and F major. Within each room, we have items that we can interact with, say furniture. Those furniture are our chord tones. Those are our target points, the things that we can actually utilize within each room, okay? So in the C major room, we have C, E, G. In the G major room, we have G, B, D. In the A minor room, we have A, C, E. And in the F major room, we have F, A, C. These are the very important notes within each room. We're just going to play with those notes, all right? So we're going to do it in root position. All right, so I got my headphones on. I got my guitar here. We have our backing track, and I'm just going to play over each chord in root position, right? So again, that's our C, E, G. That is our G, B, D, A, C, E, and F, A, C. All right, here we go. So as you can see, not a problem note in there, right? We're just playing the notes that are in the chord, okay? So before we even go any further, you got to think about all the patterns that you can do with that. We can invert it, which means we can play a first inversion or a second inversion, right? That's just going 3, 5, 1, and then second inversion being 5, 1, 3, right? We can also mix and match the order, right? We can go 1, 5, 3. We can go 3, 1, 5. And 5, 1, 3. Yeah, we can do a lot of different things with just that, okay? Right, but the next step we really want to get to is called voice leading, okay? We want to be able to understand what's the smallest amount of movement that I can do to get me to the next chord tone, okay? So in this chart right here that I have, you can see that the C in the C major chord goes down to a B in the G major chord, and that's just a half step away. That's very close, right? So you want to understand things like that when you're learning about these chords. You want to be able to move very easily to the next chord. Where does B go from the G chord? Well, the B can easily go back to C in A minor, okay? And then in the key of F, it's a common tone. The C is a common tone, so we can stay on C. So we don't really have to move that much. We can play C first chord, B next chord, C again for the third chord, and then lastly C on the fourth chord. All right, so let's just see how that sounds if we just did that. As you can see, there was nothing wrong with that, right? I took my time. It was expressive. I added a little bit of slides in there, a little bit of vibrato, and it was tasteful. Yeah. So this is the kind of things you want to do, right? You want to hit those chord tones and add some personality to it. Okay, and you want to take your time too, by the way. We don't want to overload ourselves with a bunch of information, with a bunch of different notes. We just want to be able to play the main notes that matter, because this is how you get to the freedom standpoint where you're not playing too fast and you're not limited by playing too slow because you don't know what you're doing, right? You're playing at the speed you want to play at. This is what you want to do. You want to be able to express yourself at any given tempo, at any given speed, at any given rhythm. And you want to know exactly what you're doing to get there, right? But we have to repeat these things on all the different notes that we have. We started on C. You need to do this on E. You need to do this on G. And then from there, we can add the notes in between, right? So if we go back to our house analogy, the notes in between, which is just a scale, right? The notes in between the chord tones are like the walls. We're confined because remember the house is in the key of C. So we're confined by these notes within that scale, but they are just used to get us to the next piece within each room, okay? So let's put that all together. I'm gonna play another solo and we're gonna play some of those notes that are in this scale to get us to the chord tones. So yeah, whether you're a beginner or if you're even intermediate and you were just trying to get into improvisation, trying to understand how to make your solo sound more meaningful, melodic, hopefully these tips were helpful to you. Plan on doing more videos, guys. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.